It's really a simple concept, is to do a good job, do the best you can, and do the right thing. Went to a junior college in Kankakee, went to college to be an auto mechanic, and worked at a Ford dealership in the small town of Donovan, where I lived, for a couple of years, and then had an opportunity to go to work at an international harvester dealer in Watseka. So I spent about 2 years there as a mechanic, and then moved eventually into parts. It was very familiar to me to work with farm equipment, as I've grown up on the farm. And so the red farm equipment just was a natural progression for me to be able to work on that and work with people. I kind of enjoyed working with the customer base, because a lot of them were familiar to me as well. So it was a pretty good fit for me originally. I fell in love, and my wife, or my future wife, was working in Champaign, and so as the relationship progressed, we decided to get married, and I needed to move. She had a good job at the University of Illinois, and I needed to move to the Champaign-Urbana area. And so, being familiar with the dealership, the farm equipment dealership business, I talked to Gary, talked to a couple other local dealers about an opportunity, and Gary saw fit to take the plunge and give me a chance.
Curt came to us in about 1979, and he wanted to come to work for Birkey's. And we just absolutely had no job for him. He was currently working at a dealership in Watseka, but was wanting to relocate to Champaign. And he was very insistent. In fact, he called and he come back down several times. And finally, I guess I just got tired of him coming in, and I just hired him. And it was probably the most different type of hire that I'd ever had.
My personality sort of allows me to take ownership of a customer's problem and try to see it through. And so that was of value to me, to be able to have the ability to help a customer with his farm equipment problems. And that's kind of what we did. We were kind of problem solvers. We helped a guy maintain his equipment and make sure it's usable, and continue to use it after it breaks down. So that was kind of rewarding to me, self-satisfying, I guess, to be able to help in those situations.
It is amazing watching him interact with the customers, from the roles of being parts manager to his current role as a PSSR. He gets along great with customers. He gets along great with vendors that he works with. His interaction is one of the reasons why he's in the current position that he's in, because he's a face of Birkey's, and he's someone that we can put out there and really represent the company well. And he has over his last over 30 plus years. Yeah.
It was outstanding. His interaction with the customer was great. The customers just really liked Curt. They'd come in and ask for Curt because they knew he would get the job done. If they needed a part, he was going to find it or get it, and make sure they were taken care of. But he had, or he has, an ability to work with those customers and just laugh with them. If they're on edge, usually when they come in, they're not at that counter because they're happy. There's usually a problem. And he had a way of calming them down and fixing them up, and when they left, they were usually laughing.
Well, he's been a model for the amount of energy that he puts into his work. From the time he hits the counter in the morning to the time the sun sets, he's on the move. The grass never grows under Curt's feet.
One thing I remember, and I believe Curt was probably in his mid-40s when I started working at Urbana, and I was in my 20s.
We walked next door to a Hicks Gas ham and bean dinner. They were having a customer appreciation dinner, and they're right next door to the old store. And so we walked over there, and on the way back after lunch, it started to rain,
And I looked at him and asked him if he wanted to race back, figuring I could, beat the old man in a race.
And so Todd and I decided to run back to the store.
And he beat me quite handily, and reminds me of that still now. He probably still could beat me in a race.
I was able to get there and hold the door open for him after waiting a little bit for him to finish the race, if you will. So yeah, and I'm pretty sure I could still do that now, although I hope I don't have to prove it.
Curt is truly an ambassador for Birkey's. There's nobody that works for us that I could count as heavily as an ambassador as Curt Arseneau. Whether he's in front of the customers, whether he's with his fellow employees, whether he's with our owner group, he always speaks really highly of our company. He's a walking testimony for our retirement plan. He's a walking testimony for hard work and doing the things you need to do, that there will be opportunities,
Curt's the kind of person that when we at Birkey's interview and make a new hire, what you hope you get is Curt Arseneau, a guy that has committed his entire career here at our organization, one that through the changes and the growth in our organization has taken on new roles and new responsibilities. Curt is a goodwill ambassador for the organization. Customers like him. He works well with his peers. Has gained a following and a high level of respect, and in all ways he embodies the things that we value as an organization of maintaining and promoting genuine relationships with our customers, meeting and exceeding their expectations, and there's never been a time when that I can remember that Curt hasn't lived up to those standards.
He's over the years been my right-hand man in many different situations, some good, some bad, but very dependable person, and I don't think you'll ever find a more loyal or dedicated employee than Curt Arseneau.
Been privileged to work with a lot of fine people and made good friends, good lasting friends. So I think being part of this team will be probably what I'll miss the most. Again, there's lots of people that have grown up with me that I've worked with for many, many years that are, of course, approaching retirement age as I am. And I'll miss the camaraderie, the working towards a common goal with a good team. I think that's probably what I'll miss.
I just loved having him out there as a touch point everywhere he went with these guys. And the hardest thing for me is going to be when he's gone, hey, where's Curt? Well, let's send Curt. Oh, we don't have him. Guys want to send Curt. If they get confused, they get stumped on an issue, whether it's figuring out a bucket that fits a certain piece of equipment. Hey, give it to Curt, he'll figure it out, and Curt would always dig into the situations and find that out. We're gonna miss that. We're really gonna miss the things he does, the little things each and every day. It's gonna be hard to replace that.
Well, I hope that he and Connie have a very happy retirement down there, and we hate to see him move so far away, but I'm sure they'll stop back by and see us once in a while. And thanks again, Curt, for all you've done for our company.
He's an extremely interesting individual. Probably always seemed to me like he knew exactly what he wanted out of life. And in the workplace and out of the workplace, he shared his different experiences and have enjoyed those, and we'll miss him going forward.
I certainly wish for Curt the very best as Curt endeavors to step into retirement, and wishing Curt the best of health and opportunity to travel and continue to see the world and do those things that he loves.
I just hope that Curt and Connie enjoy retirement as much as I have. It's been great, and he's earned it, he deserves it, and just want to wish them the very, very best in retirement.